It is time. We have arrived at the first of three finals that we're going to be having a look at this weekend. The first one that we are going to be seeing is the 200 League Finals Division 1 between Encore and the defending champions, Rated R. My name is Awoken. I just got out of bed 15 minutes ago, and I am joined by Euan. How are you doing today?
Hi guys. You may recognize me from the team African Lion Safari Tour Guides. I was playing for them last week, but the team that managed to defeat us, we're about to see again, hopefully, or maybe not hopefully for them anyway, to retain the 200 League title.
Right, and they are definitely poised to do so. Encore has been in the hunt for this for so long. They've come so close so many times. Every 200 tournament over the past year, they've always been right up there with the best, but they cannot quite break into that number one spot. So we're gonna see if that changes today. And with the lineups that both these teams are putting out, they both definitely look like they want to win.
Absolutely. The lineup from the Rated R side, we are looking at Darky, Erickfree, Yoshira, K4I, Varo, and James. And the Encore lineup is Luckyo, Desi, Elmer, Tai, Berda, and Chibi.
Sorry?
Sorry?
Go ahead.
I was going to say that for me, this is just a personal opinion. I think it's reasonably controversial to play Chibi, since he is a shock bagger. He's their shock bagger, and basically, I think that shows that Encore are going to be going for a lot of shocks this war, and I personally don't know how I feel about that. Maybe it'll work out for them.
What I will say though is over the past week or so, ever since Encore found out that they would be playing Rated R in the finals. I'm trying not to say we because I'm on this team, but ever since they found out they would be in the finals against Rated R, they've kind of been thinking about a lot of things, one of which being that they don't think a designated shock bagger is needed because Eevee is obviously very strong with running, very capable of doing so. And the fact that this lineup that they're putting out right now has plenty of people that are capable of going back and getting shock whenever they need it is very useful. So I don't think they're going to be sending Eevee back for the entire war.
Absolutely. Yeah, it maybe if they are going for shock, if they are going to think they need shock, it may be quite tricky if they don't manage to pull it, because this Rated R lineup is extremely strong when it comes to the side of running, and I'm interested to see how Encore work around that and see if they can manage to pull through and at least make it an interesting game.
Yes, obviously Rated R, all 6 of the players you see on screen right now playing for that team, very, very strong runners, but their bagging ability is not to be underestimated, especially with what K4I has been doing for bagging lately. Definitely been improving a lot in that regard and becoming one of the best at that. So they are definitely just as capable of pulling shock, if not more so than Encore is. The one issue with them is going to be, as always, their communication, because they're only really going to have Darky, Yoshira, and Varo contributing a lot to the call, as there's a language barrier for K4I, James is quite quiet, and so is Erickfree. So they've obviously proven themselves capable of winning with this lineup before. It's just a question of, are they going to be able to do it again compared to the stellar communication that Encore has?
Absolutely, yeah. Encore, out of all of the 200 teams I've ever watched play, Encore definitely thrive in the side of communication and calling, and that's what makes them as good a team as they are, really. And yeah, so they are, on paper perhaps, they aren't as strong as some other teams, but in communication, they absolutely thrive, which makes them potentially the best 200 team.
Yeah, and we're going to see if they can actually, hold that claim of being potentially the best 200 team if they are able to dethrone what is currently seen as the best in the scene right now in Rated R. We see Darky as the host. I'm not quite sure what the rest of the spots behind that are looking like, but they're going straight to Wario's Gold Mine, as we do see a potential 2-3 from the side of Encore.
Absolutely, it looks like Encore have a lot of mid spots, which I think they do tend to pick Sweet for when they do not have first, but have a couple of positions right behind first. I think they're known for picking at in that kind of situation, which is what we're seeing here. But Darky looking to just try and hold first, potentially, maybe get a good race for the whole team by going Gold Mine.
Yeah, and unfortunately for him, that is not going to be panning out, as we will be headed to Sweet Canyon for race 1.
Absolutely, and
looks like we see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 from Encore. Not sure
yes,
if those spots
actually,
not sure if those spots on there are accurate, but if they are, then definitely
quite
good for them.
Quite good for Encore, since the final cut is quite powerful on this track, especially in 200.
Yeah.
Always infamous for stealing first at the last second in all situations.
Luckyo and I believe Elmer able to make their way into top 2 and immediately trail out that Rated R member, so it's very nice for them. And
early top spots for Encore here.
Early top spots for Encore, but Darky's going to be looking to potentially land a trail on one of these two players with these triple nanas. Not quite going to happen yet. Maybe going to get somebody out of the cut, but that's
sniping himself. Yeah. We're over to Luckyo's point of view, who is managed to make his way into first.
Yeah. He's also managed to make his capture card even more saturated than before, when we literally told him beforehand how to fix it. So, a little unfortunate on that part, but we do still see him holding down first, and I believe James was the one in second, so Rated R putting the pressure on.
I'm certain James is in second. A little bit of a mess up from Luckyo there. James attempting the snipe, but barely missing. No one seems to have shroomed up, so Luckyo's going to get to hold first here.
Yeah. We're going to see if that is able to be maintained throughout the entirety of lap 3, whether a Shock has something to say about it, or whether James reds him out, James shrooms up, but it does look like Luckyo gets hit by a Nana, I believe. I'm not quite sure what that was. I didn't see it. But
there's a blue. Dropped out of the blue for Luckyo, even though he's probably going to be able to make it to the finish line. Pulling a bomb. Oh! That's unfortunate for Luckyo and Encore, giving Rated R.
A lot of top spots for Rated R. That's
top,
top 2,
4,
6, 7, 8.
Bottom 4 first race for Encore. That was a very unfortunate finish for Encore there. Conceding first to a random green shell and giving Rated R the start they needed.
Yeah. It was looking like a good race for Encore up until the very end. Whoever threw that green, definitely a lot of credit to them for if they were a Rated R member, that is, a lot of credit to them for being able to turn that race from what would have been pretty even into an early, really good start for them.
Absolutely, but Encore instantly getting their pick again, going to Dry Desert, which is not very good for Rated R's positions, and this may give Encore potentially Encore might be able to stop the momentum that Rated R have early on, which could be good for them.
Right, and we only see one person running. I did not quite catch who the DK was last race, but Darky is going to be kind of playing the mid-pack a little bit in fourth here, but is going to be getting redded out. And
not being a box either.
0 points.
Not that it particularly matters on a dry race. I'm sure he doesn't really care that much, but
yeah.
I don't know who the DK is either, but I assume that it was maybe Encore. I don't know though.
Yeah, no, I unfortunately did not catch that. We are going to watch Darky golden up through this massive
unfortunate blooper pull for Darky though. He's going to have it in Desi with a bill in second.
Yeah, Desi holding a bill in second. I feel like that is very much a sign that the Shock is in fact in play, but yeah, Darky pulling a star in third kind of solidifies that claim, and he's going to be popping that immediately. 8 people are in dodges right now.
I would like to assume that Encore have shock since Darky spammed his star so fast and not dodging in the process. So either Encore have shock or no one does, it
Definitely
seems.
did not pop his dodge, though. That DK is going to be Varo from R, and I do believe Encore just took first, and that
There's
is
the shock.
going to be...
Yoshira dodging, though.
Not quite sure whose shock that was. That could have been an Encore shock because they got their first place into set, but we also saw multiple people dodging from both teams, so impossible to tell really whose that was. Darky going to be getting ninth here.
I'm going to assume it was an Encore shock, but that probably was, since Encore get the top 2-5, but bottom 3, so
A tied
not
race.
going to be, yeah, not going to be as good as they hoped.
Gonna quickly ask Encore whose shock that was. It was in fact Encore's. So that did look like that was a good shock for them. And it did look like there were a lot of our members in the front, and had that shock not happened, it could have potentially been a win for R. So the fact that they were able to mitigate the damage is really good for them, especially considering the first race that R just had.
Yes, definitely. Encore also having the advantage of top 2-4 now, although they still are down 26 after 2 races. They still do have the top 2-4 spots, which may help them, even though it is Dolphin Shoals. It may still help them. Maybe they can hold their top spots and potentially get a better race.
Yeah, we could also potentially see the bottom. We could also potentially see the bottom 3 drafting up as Mario Kart boards. Thank you guys so much for sending over the Mario Kart Wii community to have a look at our 8 Deluxe gameplay.
Well, thank you.
And we're going to be headed right into race 3 of the 200 League Finals between Rated R and Encore, for those of you just joining.
Absolutely. Watching Luckyo's point of view from Encore at the moment, he is currently slowing down slightly to get double boxes. Not sure if it really worked out for him, but it looks like Rated R currently holding a couple of the bottom spots at the moment.
Yeah. Luckyo able to make his way up into 4th with these triple shrooms. Could potentially be a top 3 from R at the moment. And it is K4I, Yoshira, Darky all up there.
Currently a top 3 for R. If I were Encore, I would be hoping that I could pull a blue shell. Or a shock. That might also work.
Yeah, it will in fact also work. And we are going to see James dodging, I believe, so...
James dodging, but Darky getting blued. Unfortunately, nothing he could have done about that. Encore members all coming up, though, so that definitely hints that it was an Encore shock.
Yeah. It target shocked Rated R's top 3. There is not a shadow of a doubt that was an Encore shock, and they are looking like they're in every top spot that's not first right now.
Absolutely.
A lot of R members catching up at the moment. I do believe that was Ty and Bill Strat, but K4I right on Luckyo's tail right now. That red is going to break, so Luckyo is going to be home free, I believe.
This looks like it could be a 2-7 for Encore right here.
If it is, that is wonderful for them.
Yes, it is.
And that is going to pretty much even things up, I believe.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. That is the race that Encore needed, and luckily they could get it as early as they could, so they're back into the game early on.
Yeah, credit to James for holding down first for his team, because a top 6 in this game is a 40-point differential, but thanks to getting first, a 2-7 is going to be turning into a much more manageable race for them. Still not an ideal one, and I'm not 100% sure what the differential on a race like that is. It is a plus 22.
Plus 22, yes.
Yeah.
So
almost with one brought this back to 4 points.
Yes, with one race to go in the GP after conceding a bottom 4 first race, they have now managed to close the gap, and with one race left of GP1, they're down 4. Sorry. And we will be going to Wario Stadium, which is quite good for Encore, I think, actually, because...
Very good for Encore.
Since they will all have coin advantage and be starting in top spots at the same time, therefore, if they do not kill each other, I think they could definitely run this,
Right.
potentially taking James out in the process.
And the thing about Wario Stadium is, when you're starting in first place, that's unfortunate for Luckyo, but when you're starting in first place on this track in 200cc, obviously in 150 we know it to be possibly the most dominant runner in the current metagame, but when you're starting in first in 200cc, you're so far off to the right that it's hard for you to maintain first through one turn, so everyone behind you in second and third with the coin advantage is going to be getting a better line and therefore is able to take more advantage of this track.
Absolutely, and it looks like they're quite mixed spots at the moment, but Encore seems to be dominating most of the mid spots, it seems. Blue Shell coming out, not sure who for.
I would have to assume an Encore member, right?
Probably. No, it was Erickfree. So it looks like a
2, 3, 4 potential top 4 for rated
I
R.
think no, Luckyo taking first actually.
Yeah, Luckyo still holding first and is going to be looking to get some defense relatively soon. Unfortunately, not going to be pulling it behind the Shroom, and he's kind of forced to chain it here. Yeah.
Yes. But looking at the mini map, it doesn't look like Encore have very much support at all. They look like they're all in the back at the moment, so this could be a big race for rated R.
Yeah, if Encore is not able to do anything, I don't remember who the Luigi is. Is it Encore? I do think it's Berta.
I think it's K4I. Yes, it's K4I.
So yeah, that's gonna be basically the same race that rated R just got. We didn't really see the spots on the screen for much time, but it was a 1-7 bottom 4. Yeah, yes. A 1-7 bottom 4 for Encore. So that is a slightly better race for them. That is a slightly better race for Encore compared to what they did to R on Dolphin Shoals. That will be a 2-point swing in their favor. However, R have still brought their lead back to the point that it was, and they're now looking at, I believe, a 24-point deficit.
Yes, definitely, and I'm not too sure what happened at the start of the race, but James failed the start boost. So for a split second at the start of Wario Stadium, Encore must have been top 6, but I'm not sure how they managed to concede that so quickly, because it seemed like rated R were like almost top 4 after one lap.
Yeah, I mean, as we were talking about, Wario Stadium, especially on 200cc, with how tight the beginning is especially, it can be very, very difficult to mitigate the bumps. And when you're starting top 6, the only people you are going to be bumping is yourselves. So unless they were able to, play perfectly around the lag, play perfectly around each other's lines, then it was only a matter of time before something was going to happen to them.
Absolutely, and I'm assuming this was a rated R pick on DMC. Darky getting a really good pull, second place Mushroom.
Yeah, that Red
also showing up.
Yeah, Red not going to quite connect with Luckyo, but Yoshira and Darky both shrooming through the shortcut compared to Luckyo taking the miss. That is going to save them some time and bring them into top 2. Luckyo looking to take them both out though.
Yes, Darky also having a very high coin count, which is a huge, huge thing on a speed track just like this. So Darky's going to probably get a break quite quickly, which is exactly what he's doing. Looks like a top 3 for rated R at the moment. Going on to lap 3, Encore might need a blue or a shot quite quickly if they want to get a winning race.
I think even at this point, blue might not reach. I don't think it will lock on the Darky before this turn coming up right here. So yeah, blue's not going to do much. They're going to need a shock, and they are very quickly running out of time to pull it, and yeah, no, it's not going to be happening. It's going to be a top 3 for rated R.
Top 4? I see a Luigi in 4th. I think that is a top 4 for rated R.
I think you are correct, and the shock does come in, but too little too late, unfortunately, for Encore, and that will be yet another dominant race for rated R as they extend their lead going into the halfway point of the war.
Absolutely, that was very well ran by rated R there. They just took over the top spots. They took over first very quickly and just managed to run really well in their top spots, and it just got worse and worse for Encore as the race progressed.
Yeah, and now it's kind of back to the drawing board for Encore. They've obviously proven themselves very, very capable of beating a team of this caliber, and Rated R just last week proved that they can bleed, as they suffered the biggest loss their clan's ever had to the tour guides in the semifinals, which I believe was around a -90 deficit. So they can bleed, and Encore has proven capable of winning against a team like this. So we're going to see on She's Land here if they're able to start the comeback.
Absolutely. So far it has been quite dry in terms of shocks. The shocks that have happened have been relatively ineffective, and there hasn't seemed to have been many of them so far. So I guess we'll see if more will be pulled. If in Encore's favor, that would help them a huge amount to come back into this war.
The only really major shock that we saw be used so far was the one on Dolphin Shoals. Even the one on Dry Desert didn't really accomplish much for either team, so...
Absolutely. Encore seem to have more baggers in the back here, so it seems that they might potentially be going for shock. I see Chibian last, so that would make me think that they are going for shock this race. Right.
Luckyo. Very fortunate for Luckyo to be able to pull this bill and do the extension strike right here. Making his way into 6 before even using it. Making his way into 6 before even using it, and he's going to be sitting comfortably in the top spot with a dodge right now. Gonna pop it immediately,
a star,
and that is going to likely be an Encore shock. James was in that dodge though, so not
Varo also
sure
dodged behind him.
Yeah. Lucky's going to have to be careful, surrounded by his teammates with these triple greens right now.
Getting
but
he's going to on Varo.
Be able to get rid of them very nicely, and it's going to be a top 2 for Encore at the moment. That blue shell is going to get rid of that though. That's great back on James, and was Elmer able to horn the blue? I think he was.
I think he managed to dodge the blue at least, and is now taking cuts, so that's at least going to be a first for Encore. Or not, he's going to get redded.
And James is going to take first.
James is going to take first there, but it looks like Encore got, all the spots behind it.
Yeah, so that's going to be about a +10 for Encore if I had to guess, because not quite the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that they had on Dolphin Shoals, but still a lot of very solid top spots, just none of them that are called first place, which is very, very damaging.
Although, they did kind of get shafted away from a first there, but they still got a good enough race that at least stands them a chance at winning this match.
Yeah, and going into the halfway point, I believe they're going to be trailing by about 40 to 30 points, somewhere in that range. Very, very possible for them to pull that off, but they're going to have to start doing something soon. They do have the momentum at the moment coming off of a about +10 race, so if they're able to carry that through the next few races, then the pressure's going to be on for R.
Yes, going to Donut Plains 3, which I believe is Rated R's favorite bagging track. So let's see how Encore will be able to potentially counter that, and let's see if they can keep the momentum going and get back into this match.
Yeah, they're going to be looking to take control of these top spots as soon as possible, because if there's no shock and if there's no blue, and if you're good at driving this track, DP3 can very much be a running track. Luckyo, very solid at driving this track, as he's already showing himself to be so far through this lap one, but...
Getting an early lead with a mushroom and his teammate directly behind him, putting him in a very good position at the moment to dodge blue and potentially keep top 2, but Darky pulling the best items of his life right now.
Yeah, the way the back of this pack is looking, it is not looking like this is going to be the blue list and shock list race we were talking about. Darky able to pull a bill in 8th and able to bring it all the way up to 5th. If he's able to hold this and not get hit, he could potentially be looking at first right here. And I think he is.
I don't actually know. Oh, Luckyo getting hit though. Erickfree getting first. Another shot. And Rated R, just like that, get a top 2, 4. 5, actually. And
Yeah, that's exactly what they were looking for when they decided that DP3 was the track they needed, and
Mm,
you know,
That's
it
that
worked
just
wonders for
shows.
them.
Yeah,
And
that
yeah,
that just shows why DP3 is their best backing track. They just unfortunate for Luckyo. I'm not quite sure what he got hit by. I'm going to assume he got redded, maybe, but unfortunate because that just gave Rated R a top 2, which is exactly not what Encore needed right now.
and more importantly, Encore no longer have the momentum, and that was really what was keeping their hopes. That was what was keeping their hopes up before the last race. It is obviously still possible for them to win, but with a 60-point deficit and only 5 races to play, they're going to have to play out of their minds, and are getting their track pick is not very helpful.
Absolutely, this track pick going to be very good for Rated R. Then this is definitely the track if you want to. This is definitely the track to pick if you want to keep your momentum in top spots, and I think Rated R will do just that.
Yeah. Eric probably going to be. Unfortunately, Darky missing the boxes is very, very bad for Rated R because they had the potential to trail out Luckyo and turn themselves into an instant top 4, but we're not going to be seeing that happen. I do think Luckyo was still bumped out in some other way, and Darky's going to be making his way into, I believe, first. No, Erickfree's still
Second
up
at
there.
the moment, but his teammate is in front of him. Darky pulling double reds in second, which is quite good for his position. Looks like Luckyo's holding out third at the moment. Encore keeping some mid spots, 3, 4, 5 for Encore at the moment,
Yeah.
but
Luckyo looking to do some
quite
work with this bomb. Unfortunately, not going to happen. He's going to have to be careful that it doesn't blow up on Encore. It doesn't, thankfully, for them. And still trying to figure out how they're going to take out this top 2. Missing the glider, unfortunately.
At the moment, Encore still seem to be dominating the mid spots, but to be quite frank, that's not enough for them at the moment.
That will
Shot
be an
coming
Encore shock.
in.
That is definitely an Encore shock. Tai able to dodge up, getting top 2 after set, getting their 3, 4, 5 into set. That is exactly what Encore needed. And looks like Tai is now in first, but Rated R still holding down 2-3, and Luckyo missing that box is crucial.
Definitely. Darky may potentially be pulling something here that can ruin Luckyo, but doesn't look like he does. Triple greens actually might just do that, and Luckyo unfortunately getting trailed right before the end.
Passed by his teammates though, so that's not the worst thing in the world. We're gonna have to see what the spots look like. That is not what you're looking for if you're a fan of Encore.
That was an unfortunate bottom 3 for Encore, and that is definitely not what they needed at all. Another losing race, unfortunately, for them, and Rated R somehow keep their momentum going even further.
Yeah, and like you were saying about this track being great for keeping your momentum, Rated R are able to do exactly that, as they've now jumped out to, I believe, close to a 70-point lead with just 1 GP to play. So Encore is going to have to do some thinking, whether it be about this last GP or whether it be about match 2. What went wrong, what went right, what can we do differently? And I do think they hinted at possibly making lineup changes if there were things in the first war that went wrong, so that could be where things start for the second match, but
yeah, I'm
still got
interested.
another GP to play, and this war's not technically over yet.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how Encore bounce back from this, because as they've shown in previous times, they're more than capable of bouncing back from this. They just need to stay focused.
Yeah.
Darky pulling a shroom, but unfortunately not doing anything with it.
Tries to shroom through the barrels to the right there, but getting bumped out, and is now kind of stuck in this awkward mid spot with holding just a shroom and very little points.
Tai also seems to be taken out at the moment, but looks like
great horn from Berta there.
That was a very good horn, I think. Oh yes, Encore have an early top 2, I believe.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you
which
think
is
that can't quite tell. Okay, I think it's Varro in third. I do believe that Yoshi is also on R. Great awareness by Luckyo, being able to see the shroom and take that turn tight there, extending his lead even over his teammate, but still very, very nice for him to have. It's going to be a question of,
definitely.
is blue going to come out? And if it is Luckyo going to be able to outrun it potentially? Or are we going to see another shock maybe? Still looking like a 3-4 from rated R. So Encore is going to have to get the rest of their members into these top spots pretty soon. Eevee trying to have a look at what Varro's doing back there to make sure there's no funny business going on, but unfortunately there is.
Yeah,
That
not
does
quite
look
sure
like a
whose
rated
shot
R
that was,
shock.
but
A lot of rated R members
yeah,
dodging there.
going to assume it was. Desi dodging, though, and probably going to take first here, unless Eric has something to say about it. Desi getting hit. Oh, Luckyo somehow getting first, or second. That was a bit laggy
I
there,
think
but
Elmer
top
got first.
two. Yes,
Yeah.
top two for
I think it was a top
Encore there.
2-4. Yeah,
Top
top
two,
2, 4,
4,
5,
5, 7.
Eevee unfortunately getting last, but the sacrifice was very much worth it for getting the rest of the 5 members of Encore up there into those top spots. Encore absolutely needed that race, and they have the momentum now. Are they
There
going to
was
be able to make up 60 points in 3 races? There's only one way to find out, but
there was absolutely no better time to get that race, and they are now very much back in it almost. They were making a statement there. I think they definitely are capable of coming back, but their work is not done yet. They still have a long way to go.
Yeah, they still have 3 races to play, and they still have, I believe, 44 points, if my mental math is correct, to make up here. And they think Ice Ice Outpost is going to be where that starts. They have definitely made a reputation for themselves of being very good at Ice Ice Outpost, one of their most common running picks. But unfortunately for them, they're not going to quite be getting it as we do see GBA Mario Circuit.
Yes. Radar going for the classic bagging track just to cancel the momentum, because at the moment that is all they need to do to take this first match away from Encore's hands.
Yeah, the thing about this is a couple of things. One, Eevee is still in last, so Encore does still have the bagging capability here. And second, this track is only about a minute long, so if there's no shock and there's no blue, this is very, very runnable. So, unfortunately for Luckyo, gonna get his box stolen and also his first place stolen by Eric there. Also, Varro, my bad. And it's gonna be an early top 2 for R, depending on who this Metal Mario is. I think it's Desi.
I believe Metal Mario's Encore.
Yeah. Luckyo able to get the space to throw off that red.
Taking cut as well, maybe potentially taking first, but unfortunately messing up his driving. Not pulling another red either, so it looks like Varro is going to be able to run this lap, especially after that. Looks like a 1-4-5 at the moment for rated R. James coming in with the shrooms and the shock coming in from rated R, which is very, very bad for Encore. That may have been a very good race for Radar. Top 3.
Yeah, and I don't believe it's mathematically over yet, but with a race like that, that's gonna just about be enough to do it, unless Encore makes the biggest statement they've ever had in the history of their team in these last 2 races. There's not much left that they can do.
Encore pretty much need 2 near top 6s in a row to take this first match.
Yeah.
Obviously not impossible, but they are going to need to play out of their minds if they want to take this first match.
And they've proven it to obviously be possible, as Encore have top 6 rated R before, and it was on one of rated R's best tracks in Mew City. So
absolutely,
they are definitely capable of doing it. It's just, can they do it twice? They don't need to do it twice, but doing it once would most certainly help.
The difficult part is doing it twice in a row. They are down 56 with 2 races to go.
Yeah.
That's quite a big gap. Rated R coming out with Wario's Goldmine, and if you remember from last week, Rated R got a top 6 on this track in the semi-finals in their
Right.
third match. So they are probably looking to do that again and secure the first match.
Yeah. They don't need a top 6 as this thing, though. All they need is for this race to not be god-awful. You know, if they can get one person into the top 3 in this race, then it is pretty much over. But
Yeah, definitely. They just need, if they can get first and another top 6 spot, that would be enough for Rated R. That's
yeah.
all they need to do to take this first match away. And they are currently holding first. Top 2 potentially. Luckyo shrooming away from James's trail, only to be met with another trail in which is much worse. Luckyo getting lag trailed, giving Rated R a top 3.
Yeah. We can't really quite see what items are in play in the back here, but what we do know is that Darky is holding a bill and a gold and gonna pop this bill, and you know, it's nice to be able to get a view of the back every once in a while, as it could potentially give us some hints as to what might happen in these races, but unfortunately not much to be seen at the moment, as Darky just makes his way back up into 6th thanks to the golden and the fill.
Birda getting a really good star there, hitting Yoshiro and Darky with the same star, but
Unfortunately, though,
don't think that's going to be enough, since Rated R going to get a top 4 here. Top 4, 7, 8 for Rated R to take the first match.
Yeah. Incredibly well done by them. And just like you said, they were able to do exactly what you had suspected. You know, taking this Wario's Goldmine pick and running with it. They've definitely quickly brought this up into being one of their best tracks, and they're showing us why as they're able to take match 1, and now it's back to the drawing board for Encore.
Absolutely. Encore definitely need to have a look at what they did wrong there and try to improve that for the next match in hopes that they can at least take it to a third match.
Right, and you know, we always say this about the teams that are going against Rated R, but when we say this about Encore, we absolutely mean it, as you could make a very strong argument that they are in fact the second best team at the moment. As in, if anyone's going to be able to make this comeback, it's going to be them. Obviously, they are going to be making the necessary adjustments. So it's going to be a question of what those adjustments are and whether or not they are going to be the right ones. We're going to see if R ends up changing anything either, but they have no reason to. They just won this war very, very comfortably.
Yeah, definitely not. Rated R definitely been the better team this war. No doubt about it, but that definitely does not mean Encore out of it, because Encore definitely capable of being the better team as well for the second match. But only time will tell what will happen, and whether we'll see it going to a third match or Encore, or Rated R, I mean, taking it in straight matches here.
Right, and you know, both these teams, as we keep saying, just from top to bottom, their entire rosters are filled with incredibly talented players in this mode, and you know, they are both very capable of pulling off wars like this. And Encore, as we've seen them do it before in the past. It's just a question of can they do it again, but this time twice in a row. They were able to take winners finals off of R in $200 Overdrive in dominating fashion. So they are definitely capable of beating R, and they were able to do so in the $200 regular season about a year ago. So
yes, absolutely. Yeah, Rated R definitely. Yeah, so Rated R absolutely have been a very good team for a long, long time, and I would definitely enjoy personally seeing them get taken down. But they take the first match reasonably comfortably. I'm not sure how the last race went
Yeah, it
in terms
was
of score.
it was a win for Encore. It was about a plus 10 or so win for Encore, and um, maybe they needed that to kind of pick up their spirits a little bit going into the second and third wars, and we're going to potentially be having a look at what substitutions might happen if necessary, um what other altercations to their gameplay, their communication, their strategies. Um, they are definitely capable of making the adjustments, and we're going to find out now. In roughly 20 minutes time, at the top of the hour for match 2, what is going to be happening with them.
Yes. This is hopefully the next match at least will be exciting as exciting as the last one was, and even last week's matches. So I think we are going to take a short break. We will be back for the second match. Hang tight and stay tuned for more 200 League action in the finals of Rated R against Encore.
We have arrived at the second match of the Division 1 200 League Finals between Rated R and Encore. If you weren't watching the first match, or if you just need a quick refresher, we did see Rated R take the first match in rather dominating fashion. Encore were able to keep it as close as they were able to manage, but every time they did get the momentum, Rated R was able to snatch it right back from them. So we're going to be having a look at whether or not they were able to make the adjustments necessary. And the first place that's going to start you in is with these lineups.
Absolutely. I believe there has been some changes on the Encore side here. Rated R's lineup is the exact same of Darky, Erickfree, Yoshira, K4i, Varo, and James, but the point of view is going to be changing from Darky to Erickfree this war. Encore's side, they've kept the same lineup mostly of Luckyo, Desi, Elmer, Ty, and Burda, but they have replaced Chibi with Pianist, which shows to me that they are going to be taking this war very seriously, not going to be aiming for shock as much since they are a more run-heavy lineup.
Right. And like we were mentioning, Encore has filled to the brim their entire roster of players that are capable of doing it all, running, bagging, and everything in between. But as we are noticing right now, Eevee, while very capable of running, is more of a bagging oriented player, and Pianist is vice versa. While capable of bagging to an extent, is much more focused on his lines and being run heavy. Obviously, most of you guys may know him as being one of the top level speedrunners of this game for multi-track speedruns. So we are probably going to be seeing that come into play to some degree, in terms of how, in terms of, sorry, what this team is capable of, and see if the adjustments they made were the correct ones to be able to at least bring this to a game 3 for Encore.
Absolutely. While Chibi was definitely a strong runner, Pianist being the former world record holder for 200cc no items 48 track speedrun shows that he has an extensive knowledge of all of the tracks actually. So he could be a great substitution for Encore to give them the win that they need.
Yeah, and what we did see a lot in the first war was Encore was doing a very good job of being able to control most of the top spots. The problem that Encore had, though, is that they were not able to control all of the top spots. most of where Encore suffered came as a result of 1 or 2 rated R members making their way in to first, making their way into top 3. They were able to consistently get basically every middle spot they could have hoped for, but unfortunately for them, where they fell short was, you know, being able to get a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but letting James into first, for example, on Dolphin Shoals and other similar races that we saw occur.
Absolutely. Looks like the room will be starting, but yeah, keeping in mind what you just said, Encore seem to not be on top of their game in terms of using shocks, because although a lot of them benefited their team, they seem to just dodge that 1 or 2 rated R members in the front, so they weren't able to get first,
Yeah.
which was quite costly over the course of the war. Their shock on RMC right at the end, losing it for them as well. So this might be their motivation to switch to a runner lineup for this match.
Yeah, obviously Shock's still one of, if not the most important parts of the mid game. Maybe not as much so for 200cc as it might be for 150, but still definitely something that you want your team to be having control over. So if
Um,
Encore is going to be able to, obviously we see the adjustments to their running, but if they're going to be able to put together a more comprehensive unit in the back that is able to more properly use the shocks that they may end up pulling, that is going to be possibly the most beneficial change that they can make.
Absolutely. Starting off with a runner as well. Let's see if Encore can show what they're made of as we begin the second match.
Yeah.
I seem to see, I think it's quite even at the moment. I saw a couple of Rated R and Encore members in the back at the beginning.
Yeah. Maybe if we switch to Luckyo's point of view, we could get a better view of what's going on in the front. But I do think, unfortunately,
Luckyo getting
flying a bit
horned
too
by his
close to the sun
teammate,
with that horn
unfortunately.
there. And it does look like a good number of top spots for Encore, but I do believe that Pink Gold Peach is a Rated R member, and they are going to be holding down first for the time being. It may be a 2-3. Okay.
Luckyo just completely destroying
disregard
everyone.
everything I just said. I have no idea. We see
I think
Luckyo in second, and we see Yoshi Racer in first. Luckyo dropping that bomb tells me that there's a good amount of R members behind him as well. That's going to be...
Shot coming in, cancelling the blue, which makes me believe it is a rated R shock. Pianist coming up,
though.
Actually.
Quite the interesting shock. It looked like Yoshi Racer might have, maybe called the shock to cancel blue, maybe fell off to try and dodge the blue. A couple of different possibilities there. Unfortunately, that bomb
coming in.
And the races of 2 Encore members, but it does look like Pianist is going to be getting first. Unfortunately, though, a lot of Rated R members directly behind him.
Absolutely. This is, I think, somewhat... this is definitely in favor of Rated R there. An early 8 bottom 3 for Encore there, which is exactly not what they needed, considering they're already down a match.
Yeah, a great job by Pianist and Desi getting that 1-5 to mitigate the damage there, but it's still looking like approximately minus 10 about for Encore, as they're looking to not let too many of those races pile up, which was their biggest problem in the first war.
Yes, this is not the worst. They conceded worse at the beginning of the last match, but they definitely need to stay on top of this match if they want a chance at taking the Division 1 title.
What are these track picks? We see TikTok Clock from Encore. We see a Rated R member picking TikTok Clock as well. Most of are going for DS, and they will get it, but then there's also the Goldmine pick.
That just shows how coordinated Rated R are.
Yeah.
But we will be going to Dolphin Shoals, which was Rated R's pick, even though 4 of their team picked it.
Yeah, definitely one of if not the best track that they could have chosen, as they're going to be starting this race in 2-3-4. Erickfree opting to not get the startup boost. Going to be looking to bag, actually.
Bag
Interesting
at
to
them.
see from a player like him, who's mostly known for his running.
Definitely. James also hanging back as well, potentially Rated Art switching up their playstyle slightly and potentially might be going for Shock to ruin Encore's chances further.
Yeah. You know, Encore most definitely has to be noticing this, and they are just as capable, if not more so than Rated R, of sending a person back there and doing the dirty work in the back there that has to be needed. However, a top 4 from Encore at the moment is making quite the statement. But what we did see in the last Dolphin Shoals race was an early lead for Rated R, and then Encore was able to pull a massive shock, target shocking the top 3, and turning that into a winning race in their favor. Unfortunately, Luckyo is going to be getting taken off the track here, and Encore's still going to be holding on to their top 2. But I do believe K4 is making his way up, and it's kind of hard to tell what's going on in the back at the moment.
Yes, Luckyo with his reaction time managing to dodge that red there, pulling another star. Looks like Encore are in first at the moment. I think that's all they have at the moment.
That's
though.
Kai. The Luigi's Kai.
I think, no, Kai changed to Inkling Girl, I believe. And I think Elmer is now Luigi, but it looks like it's going to be a 2-3, or maybe a top 2. I'm not sure who the Waluigi in second was. A top 2, in fact. Oh, it's Birda, actually.
Yeah, and that's going to be a fantastic race for Encore. They're going to be taking back this lead, and that is exactly what they're going to be looking to doing for the entire remainder of this war, if possible.
Definitely. They absolutely could not have conceded there. Although it is early on in the war, they definitely need to keep this close because they do not want that pressure on them at the end of the match if they are down, needing to come back. Last match, it wasn't so bad because they had another chance. But this match, if they are down, they need to come back. Otherwise, they lose.
Yeah, and something to keep in mind that isn't really talked about too much in just wars in general, not even just for 200, but something that's not really a topic of discussion very much at all is, you know, being able to carry your momentum is one thing, and being able to do that with big races is great, obviously, but if you're able to if your team is able to just keep getting slight win after slight win after slight win, then that's going to be exactly what you're looking for, because, like, these slight wins, while they may seem insignificant, if you can get enough of them, they are very, very important in the long run. So that could be what Encore or Rated R might be going for.
Definitely. We see 3 Encore members opting to bag this. Clearly don't want a repeat of last match on this track. Rated R getting an absolutely incredible race, if my memory is correct. But
yeah, that incredible race did come at the hand of a Rated R shock, if I'm not wrong, though. Erickfree, sitting pretty comfortably right here in the position he's in at the moment. Going to be using his star along with a couple of other Rated R members pretty early. Maybe trying to...
Oh, unlucky green, but a shock as well, getting him before the set.
Very possible that was an Encore shock, because we saw a lot of Rated R members in dodges, and then as soon as they came out, that shock happened. I'm not quite sure who dodged up in that bill, and we are going to see Kai getting first here.
Kai getting first. It would not
surprise me if
Encore 2-3
spots afterwards for Encore, and the 2-3 is going to come in.
Definitely an Encore shock, since Luckyo is so far behind.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't quite see what the results of that race were, besides the 2-3 from Encore and the 1-4-5 from Rated R, but...
I believe it was a relatively neutral race, anyway.
It did look like it, yeah.
I would assume that Encore at least still have the lead barely, or pretty much tied.
Yeah. We don't really quite know what happened in, like, the lower mid-pack, because we know it was a 1-4-5 for R, and it was a 2-3 and last for Encore.
Yeah, and going to Ice Outpost, which surprisingly was Rated R's pick. They're clearly strategically trying to pick this enough to try and prevent Encore from having this as an option later on in the war if they got a good race. So quite smart from Rated R, but let's see if they can actually do well on it since they picked it.
And now we're going to see if they're able to take advantage of this track pick. Obviously, Encore very well known for picking this. They have plenty of members, very very strong runners on this track. Ty holding the American record and Luckyo in technical while he's not in lineup still. They have 3 members of the worldwide top 10 on their roster. So
absolutely, but it doesn't. Luckyo seems to be doing quite a lot. I believe that is Ty in first.
Yeah.
Luckyo
attempting and failing to wall dodge that red.
Rated R seem to be Encore seem to actually be dominating top and mid spots at the moment. It looks like it could be a 1-3-5-7 at the moment or something similar.
But the thing is, this is exactly what we were talking about before this war started, is that Encore is doing a great job of controlling most of the top spots, but their downfall is coming from the fact that they're just letting one Rated R member into there, and it's turning what could be an amazing race for them into just an okay one. So we're going to see if they're able to do something, and unfortunately they're not, as K4I and Erickfree are going to be getting what looks to be 1-3.
It seems that, yeah, definitely. They took out Ty, but they only got 1-3 there. They were not supported by their teammates. I still think it may be a winning race. I don't think it is actually, but
I think it's about tied.
Roughly neutral, so Rated R are barely going to be able to keep their lead at the moment.
Yeah. And you know, this is a better spot for Encore than they were in last time. It's better. It's not perfect. And it's definitely not what they were looking for, but they were definitely not looking too good coming out of 1GP last time around.
Absolutely. They're certainly doing a lot better for themselves than last time at this stage, even though it is early on. But only down 10 after the conclusion of the first GP.
So it will be a tied race.
Yes, hoping to go with TM, but not quite getting it. So it's going to be DK Jungle for Rated R, which is quite a good pick for their spots.
Yeah. And also just a good pick from K4I in general. While he is on a midweight character, so is the Encore member in second. So they're not really going to be able to take too much advantage of getting that speed to bump them out. And with Berta burning out, this is exactly the start that R was looking for.
Kai potentially also going to be pulling a coin here and getting more speed. Luckyo managing to pull into second with a green. Erickfree throwing the green forward, but it's not connecting with anyone. Luckyo and Kai seem to be fighting for first.
And it's unfortunately going to leave Erickfree hanging dry. Luckyo, a great job by him, able to finally take out K4I. However, he still has 2 more Rated R members to worry about, with Erickfree in second, and I believe Varro in third.
Erickfree with 2 shrooms could be potentially dangerous. Luckyo having a shroom in first, it seems, but opting or hitting a ground shroom. Doesn't seem that there's a blue in play at the moment unless Encore are holding it.
Yeah.
Not a very good pull for Eric, actually, which makes me believe that Luckyo might be able to hold first unless he can get the snipe. Oh!
Yeah.
Oh my.
Incredible job by Erickfree, able to take full advantage of this game's smart bounce mechanic, and, you know, throwing your shells. Another very important tip for you know, players looking to improve their item play, especially with, you know, killing out people that are in the front. But throwing your items at somebody is one thing, but it becomes infinitely more effective when you're able to intentionally smart bounce someone by not necessarily throwing a shell at them, by throwing it at a wall that's near them so they have a better chance of being hit. are able to take full advantage of that, and they're gonna end up coming out of
Top
here
2, 4,
with a
5,
top
6,
2, 4, 5,
7.
6, 7.
Oh my, 3 bottom 5 for Encore. That is absolutely tragic for Encore. Already being behind after 1 GP, and now they have just lost all of the lenience they had, and are now
They need to
resorting
get to
back
work
to
now.
dry.
Yeah, they need to get to work now.
Yes, Rated R going for TikTok Clock. I personally don't really like that track for the positions that they have, because from my experience, TikTok Clock is an extremely laggy track, so it may end up being lethal for Rated R, since the laggy nature of the track might cause them to kill each other by accident, which may
Yeah.
help out Encore, but then again, it's also a very heavy running track. So I guess we'll find out what unfolds. Erickfree instantly getting trailed out,
And so
only
is
having a
Yoshira.
coin.
Elmer!
Luckyo getting an early first, since Eric
Yeah.
and Yoshira are getting
And
killed out.
yeah,
Luckyo
an
seems to be
early top 2 for
trailing.
Encore.
And that's what I'm talking about. Just the lag there. Luckyo getting the trail out on Darky, holding first there.
Yeah. Gonna see if Varro maybe takes Claw Cop and makes his way into first, but no, it will be K4I that does so. Still Rated R, able to, as we keep saying, just get one of their members into the top spots, and with the kind of races that they've been having, that's all they need.
Absolutely.
K4 kind of lagging back there, but I do believe that he's still in first.
Luckyo failing the chain there, but it actually seems that Luckyo or K4I may have messed up. Well, Luckyo did too now, but Luckyo is still holding first. K4I right on his tail though, but getting the snipe out,
Yeah.
taking first back, but Encore 2-3 at the moment. Shot coming in, unfortunate timing for K4I, as he is going to get blued. Luckyo's going to get breaded off the glider.
What is happening? I could not tell you what
This
I'm
is
looking at in this pack at the moment.
interesting ending.
I think it's a top
Encore
2
got
for
first.
Encore. It's
Top
a top 3.
3!
It's a top 3 6. And that's a very solid race. It's not quite it's not quite the 3 bottom 5 on R that they might have been looking for, but still very solid, and that's going to be about a +10 to get their momentum back in their favor.
Interesting, very, very hectic end there. That shock definitely had to have been Encore, since Rated R were in dominating positions. They were like 1-3-4 before the shock, and that I don't know how it happened, but Encore managed to take the top 3-6 and get a reply to the DK jungle race. Obviously not as strong, but they're definitely not out of it yet.
Yeah, for sure. And they're going to be looking to go straight into another one of their strongest runners in Mount Wario to keep that momentum going. Unfortunately for them, though, Rated R just getting another track pick in DP3.
It seems that Rated R seem to be getting the track picks that they need.
Has Encore gotten one?
Have they? I'm not sure actually, but it seems to me that Rated R across both matches seem to be getting the track picks when Encore need them most.
Yeah, and I just quickly like to mention down in Division 2, those finals have already come to a conclusion, and Freeze was able to 2-0 Encore Unity, so congrats to them on winning D2. But
Absolutely.
back to this race, we see
Erickfree in 8th place with a star, up to 7th, opting to miss boxes, which may mean that Rated R have shock. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
But,
we do still have a top 2 for Encore, though. James in 3rd, but Luckyo doing a great job of distancing himself from him. we are looking at an Encore
There
shot
it
most
is.
definitely, as they get their top two both into set and dodge up Pianist and potentially another Encore member in that bullet bill. Not quite sure who.
Tie, or the Darky, Luckyo accidentally throwing a red and getting his teammate there,
Yeah.
unfortunately for him.
Does look
Looks
like
like
there's a lot of top spots for Encore right now. Darky making his way up the pack, but I do believe that's a top 3, 5, 6 for Encore, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh no!
Never
Top 2
mind. No,
4!
it's not.
Oh my god!
It's a
Bottom
top 2, 4
3
for
for
R.
Encore. Top 2 4 for Arn, bottom 3 for Encore.
Yeah.
That is a very, very unfortunate ending for
Yeah.
Encore there.
I guess that those people that dodged up were in fact rated R members, and it looked convincingly like an Encore shock as we saw Pianist dodge up and we saw Elmer and Luckyo both get shocked into set, but those must have been a bunch of rated R people that dodged up as well. And if that was in fact an Encore shock, then that is what is doing them in at the moment, is being able to use what seem like good shocks on paper, but just rated R able to play around them so well.
Absolutely. Pianist dodging in a very top spot, but somehow not being able to hold down first, unfortunately, because Yoshira dodged right behind him, managed to hold out first. Luckyo tried to red him out, but accidentally caught his teammate in the process. We're going to TM, which I believe is an Encore pick. Finally. Let's see.
Yeah, about time. Luckyo able to pull the shroom that you're always looking for at the beginning of this track, and it looks like he might have just made his way into first, but we aren't 100% sure yet.
He did mess up slightly, so it looks like Darky is taking over the top spot. But a 2-3 for Encore, which could be good. Luckyo pulling what? Luckyo pulling a shroom right behind first, but unfortunately getting trailed out.
Yeah.
So not able to use that effectively.
If I were Luckyo there, I think I definitely would have used that shroom through the ending cut.
Shock pulling out for Erickfree here, though. This could be very, very good.
Able to get it in 10th while not very far behind.
Using it quite quickly. Doesn't seem to dodge anyone.
Yeah, and that is a sign that Encore also had shock as well, but, very well done by Erickfree to, have that realization, and if it was true, be able to take that opportunity right out of Encore's hands. And even if this is a bad race for R, it is still much better than what it might have been had Encore been able to use a good shock.
Especially considering that even if Encore didn't have a shock, Erickfree using the shock so early basically ruined Encore's chances of pulling it at all. So it helped. A massacre at the end there, but looks like it's going to be a dominating race in Rated R's favor again.
And it is.
Yeah, Rated R extending their lead even further.
Yeah, and I am not quite sure what race that was. I think it was 8, I want to say, but Encore is looking at a very similar situation to the one that they were in last war, where they're going to have to make up about 70-ish points. Well, maybe not 70 this time, but they're still going to have to make up a lot of points in just 4 short races. We're going to see if this lineup from Encore, with the substitution of Pianist, is going to do a better job of playing down the stretch than their first lineup did.
Absolutely. A lot of pressure are thrown onto Encore now as they trail by 62 points, and they have to win this match if they want to take it to even a third match. If they even want a chance at winning this, they have to make this comeback with 1 GP to go.
Treasure District is definitely going to be where that starts for Encore if it does, but something to keep in mind, and why I honestly don't really like picking tracks like this for bottom spots is, well, yes, you're not getting the runner that R might have been looking for, but R is still getting just as much of an opportunity to take advantage of this track's chaotic nature as Encore is, because of the simple fact that just everyone's bagging. So this could end up just being another good race for Encore if they're able, or for R rather, if they're able to get the shock and use it to the ability to the level that they have been so far.
It is always a risk to pick this track, but they Encore need to find a way to stop Rated R's momentum and take it for themselves. And the way to do that is by not picking a running track and hoping that they can get a good race. They seem to have pulled shock here though. Luckyo coming up.
I wouldn't be too sure though.
K4i.
K4i also dodging.
K4i also Luckyo getting the best pull of his life, pulling a star, but unfortunately not taking advantage of it and crashing into the pole.
Yeah, gonna get some good items here, and those triple streams are definitely gonna be helpful. Still
like
would probably
K4i
be
is
better off had he not, unfortunately, gotten stuck behind that pole and redded, but still in a pretty solid position, and is probably going to be pulling shrooms here. Might be able to steal first from Kai. Not quite, but still a 1-3 from R. A 1-3-4 as well with James up there. And R making a statement saying, Encore, it's not your time yet. We are still the best 200 team out there.
Absolutely. 8, 10, 12 for R, but that is almost inutile because they have gotten 1-3-4, so they will be extending their lead even further with 3 races left, and Encore's the light that Encore can see is slowly fading away as they are getting less and less time to take this.
Yeah. And we're now looking at the most dire of situations possible. Obviously, there are still 3 races to play. Encore can still win this, but they're looking at possibly an even larger deficit than they were in the last war. It's going to be 66 points for it's going to be a 66 point mountain for them to climb, and they're going to need to get basically top 3s and top 4s for the entire rest of this war, and on a track that R's been so dominant on in Warriors Goldmine, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to pull that off.
Absolutely. Encore, or not Encore, Rated R being extremely dominant on this track against every single team they've played, all constantly getting huge races on this track. So Encore really, really need to step up their game this race, and if they want to take this to a third match, sure. looks like an early top 3, top 4 maybe for Rated R. Luckyo seeming to get the red out, but still leaving Rated R with a top 3. Someone Darky getting hit out, but it still is a top 3 for Rated R still at the moment, potentially even a top 5, maybe. So Encore needed to respond quickly.
Yeah. The only real way they're going to be able to do that is with the shock, and with Kai back there, basically just keeping patrol, making sure that nothing suspicious is going on back there. It's going to be near impossible for Encore to be able to do any damage, especially now that he's entered a dodge.
Absolutely. Encore slowly making their way back up, but I do not think it will be enough. Rated R getting a top 3.
Yeah,
which, depending on where the other 3 teammates got.
And, it might be over. If that is a plus 16, I don't think it's a plus 16, but it is very close. But if it is, then we are looking at, once again, the 200 League champions, maybe. Gonna quickly have a look at what the score deficit is. And, yeah, with a plus 22 by Encore on that, or by Rated R rather, on that Warriors Goldmine race, they are now ahead by 88 points with 2 races to play, and it is now mathematically impossible for Encore to come back. Rated R are once again your 200 League champions.
Rated R managed to seal the deal in 2 matches. Unfortunately for Encore, they were definitely capable of taking at least one match today, but unfortunately they weren't able to pull through, and Rated R played dominantly the entire match here, including last match, and Rated R will be taking the trophy.
Yeah. And, we cannot possibly give enough credit to Encore for, being so consistently always being right there with Rated R, always getting so close. They haven't quite had their break yet, but I think we've all come to the realization that if any team is going to do it, it's going to be either them or the tour guides. So the future of 200 is definitely in good hands. Rated R still as dominant as ever, but there are definitely multiple scenarios in which they may fall off that mountain soon. Not today, though, as they are still playing better than they pretty much ever have, able to comfortably beat the best teams in the world by margins such as this.
Absolutely, they definitely have bounced back from their shock last week when they were one race away from actually losing and not even being here today to play. So
Yeah.
I think they've played extremely well. They definitely were the rightful winners of this tournament, I believe.
Yeah. Ever since they were nearly sent home by your team, in fact, the tour guides, and nearly not even, as you said, not even being able to be here to play in the finals, they have now won 4 consecutive playoff wars, all by very considerable margins. And it's going to be possibly a long time before any team is going to be able to change that, but you never know with how this game works.
Yeah, definitely. I think considering Rated R being known as like the unstoppable team, I definitely do believe that they can be stopped. I think they are just as beatable as every other team, but obviously not as easily, as they have clearly proven to everyone here that they are definitely the strongest team in 200cc, but that doesn't prove that they are unbeatable.
Of course, we saw them suffer losses even just in this season. They had a 10-0 regular season, if I'm not wrong, but they
Yeah.
still did suffer a loss by a considerable margin in the playoffs. In $200 Overdrive, they were knocked down to the losers bracket in winners finals by Encore, but were able to win 2 straight in grand finals to bring that one back. So what we do know is that they can bleed, but in this best of 3 format, it's kind of looking like what World Friends Dominance saw in the 150, where they are just so difficult to beat in this format that it's going to be a long time before any team pulls it off.
Yeah, definitely. There are a few teams at the moment that are very strong. There are a lot of upcoming teams in the 200 scene, but at the moment, none of them are quite at the skill level of Rated R at the moment. And like you said, I don't see that changing for a while.
Yeah.
It is at the stage where I think there are a couple of teams, including Encore, which we're watching at the moment, obviously. They're one of the teams that are capable of beating Rated R. Obviously, it would be very difficult for them, but it's definitely more than doable for them. It might
Uh,
just take a little bit of time.
and
It's like a very evenly split race at the moment. Um, I actually have no clue who's in what spot, besides what we're seeing.
yeah,
But
I mean, with the with the um I cannot speak at the moment. With the results of this war already having been decided, really doesn't matter, and it gives us an opportunity to kind of look back on the season and think about where the community is at the moment. A very good race for Encore to end things off. So that'll be lifting their spirits a little bit. And you cannot possibly be mad at yourself for losing to a team as dominant as R. They're the best team
A-
for a reason, and the fact that they were able to accomplish what they did this season, Encore definitely has a lot to be proud of.
Absolutely. I think this is absolutely no embarrassment to Encore for losing this. To make
Yeah.
it all the way to finals with an 8-2 season, 2-0 in semis, they definitely played very well throughout the entire season, and they deserve to be in the finals. But unfortunately, Rated R were the better team today.
Yeah, and this
And yeah.
Yeah, this is basically not quite because they are missing Edgy, but this is just one member away from being Rated R's best lineup. So, you can not, like I said, you cannot be too mad about losing to the best team's best lineup, especially when they have been as dominant as they have for pretty much their entire existence as a team.
Yes, definitely. Absolutely. Rated R, actually, if my memory is correct, I actually think this is they did not win 200 League the last season that was played, but
Right.
they won 200L Overdrive because it was Ultra Instinct that won the last 200 League season.
Yeah, and they were
But
able to win the past two 200L seasons before that one. So
absolutely,
to put an idea into your guys' head of how dominant this Rated R squad is, the only team that has been able to defeat them in a tournament in the past 2.5 years no longer exists. So, uh,
yeah.
a
And I
very
think that season, Rated R were not at their best either
for sure.
because Rated R, I believe, lost 3 matches that season to three
Yeah,
different teams.
yeah, and they were
Um,
able to win again against all of them, which is what matters. But uh,
2 of those
since
teams
that
actually have disbanded now since then.
Yeah, two of
Um,
those. Yeah, and the third team was Encore actually.
yes.
But the I forgot what I was going to say. Damn it.
um, yeah, Encore, I believe actually that season, Radar still managed to get second because although they did lose 3 matches, all 3 of them were by less than 20. So
Yeah, they were awarded bonus points for all three of those matches. I do believe Encore did Encore get third in that season or did Uprising get third in that season?
Encore got third, I believe.
Right.
Yes, Encore did get third,
But yeah, no.
above Uprising.
But yeah, no. What matters is Rated R have been dominant for basically Rated R ever since the disbanding of AX has been the single most dominant team in the 200 scene for the past 2+ years, and that is the story at the moment as they've just added another 200 league win to their trophy case. And what is also important is that that is not where the Mario Kart action today is ending, as in just a few hours time we're going to be heading back over to 150cc for prime time at night to watch the Division 3 finals between the Stick and Version 2.
Yes, that'll definitely be a very good game. I'm not particularly into D3. I'm not really sure what's going on at the moment, but I know that these teams are both very strong, and I think this will definitely be an interesting, exciting watch to match.
Yeah,
Watch to
and
match? Oh
yeah,
no.
yeah. Yeah, definitely an exciting watch to match, but what'll also be an exciting watch to match is going to be tomorrow at the same time. We're going to be watching the Division 1 finals as well, which is, I believe, between Frenzy and Zealous, if I'm not wrong. So that will be happening at the same time tomorrow. So be sure not to miss either of these matches, as we've still got a lot of Mario Kart Finals action to be coming throughout the rest of the weekend.
Absolutely, but in terms of 200 League, that concludes the season, and Rated R are your new champions. And on that note, we are going to leave. We will be back, or not us as casters, but some new casters will be back in approximately 3 hours for the D3 finals. And until then, we'll see you later, guys.
See ya, and congrats to Rated R again.